So I wanted to clarify and go over the risk and return case 2. See if it'll let me scroll. Alright, so quite a bit of reading on the case. A lot of this information, make sure you read all this to get the background information on the case, what you're doing and why you're doing it. But truthfully, the main thing you need is this table right here, Table 1. It has all of your probability information, your estimated returns for the 4 assets that they talk about in the case are all listed here. This is really all the data that you need. The rest of the stuff up in the case is important, but it's doesn't have any information you need actually to solve the case. Question 1, simple concept type question. Question 2, calculate the expected rate of return on each of the 4 alternatives. So that's the 4 alternatives are the 1-year T-bond, TICO, Gold Hill, and S&P. This is where you can use the standard deviation spreadsheet model that I posted to Blackboard. Again, I don't have the links on that model, so you need to put in the formulas and the links yourself, but it's in a good format that you can use and just cut and paste for those into your Word document directly without any problem. And I prefer your calculations and even the spreadsheets like that to be in the body of the case. Try to avoid doing an appendix, unless there's a lot of calculations, but I prefer it to be in the body of the case, even if it's a whole page or 2 long worth of data and calculations, that's fine. And also I prefer you do all this on Word. Some students sometimes try to solve all this in Excel, since they're using an Excel spreadsheet maybe to calculate like the expected rate of return, and then they type up all their explanations and their concept question answers in Excel. Try not to do that. It's too hard to read. It doesn't come out formatted very well, so try to put it into a Word document instead. Question 3, just calculate standard deviation and coefficient of variation for the 4 alternatives. Again, you can use that spreadsheet model to do that. And then again, like I mentioned in class, make sure you don't forget to answer all the other questions. There's 3 other questions on here that you need to answer, concept type questions that you need to answer in addition to the calculations. Okay. Question 4 and 5 are the big questions. This is where that portfolio spreadsheet model comes into play. And all this is asking, this part up here is 10,000 in Gold Hill, 10,000 in TICO portfolios. This is the 50-50 portfolio. And basically, after you go through all of this, what you'll end up having is where you'll just vary the weights. You'll maybe start off with the 50-50 portfolio and then use that spreadsheet model and go through and do, well, what if I had 10% in Gold Hill and 90% in TICO, and then 20% in Gold Hill and 80% in TICO, and then go all the way to where you've got 0% in Gold Hill and 100% in TICO, and see what happens to your standard deviation, your expected rate of return, and your coefficient of variation. And I posted a summary table to Blackboard that will kind of help you see what you need. And again, I don't want 26 spreadsheets for 4 and 5 combined. If you just give me one spreadsheet for 4, maybe showing the 50-50 portfolio, and one spreadsheet for 5 showing the 50-50 portfolio, and then state that using this spreadsheet model, you've done a summary table for each one of these showing how the expected rate of return and standard deviation and coefficient of variation change as you change the weights. And on any of these cases, wherever it talks about Lotus 1, 2, 3 model or any kind of spreadsheet model, assume that it's a model you're doing yourself. It's a spreadsheet model type thing. There's not one supplied. And for those of you who are too young to know, Lotus 1, 2, 3 was kind of a precursor to Excel back in the old days. So anyway, so 4 and 5 are really important. And then again, make sure you don't forget to answer the questions. How does this compare, and what characteristics of the 2 investments makes risk reduction possible? Answer the full question. Don't worry about number 6. So I say maybe we might talk about that in class, but don't worry about doing that one. Okay, I'm about to run out of time on this video, so I'll finish up the case in another video.